Hello, everybody. Today I have a pleasure, honor, and a privilege to have a guest who is also my great friend and a person I don't need to introduce for many of you. But if you are new in the industry, let me mention that my guest is the legend, the cool guy, the Scot, David Bain.
Hello, Mr.
Hello,
Lukasz Zelezny. How are you
hello.
doing?
Oh, great. Nice
thank,
hat, sir.
thank you, thank you. I decided to put this in just for you.
Hello.
I don't know if I can keep that on. Anyway, pleasure to be on with you, sir.
Likewise, I love the view. I love the view. I'm just
What,
observing the
the view
view,
of me or the
the
background?
view of you and the view of background and the view of the logo. Obviously, today we will be talking about a Marketing Now book. I can say, your little baby. We were
I
talking
know.
about this a couple of
Yeah.
times when we've been in recently when we went to Guernsey.
Oh, absolutely. We had lots of fun in our travels, and this book has just been a crazy project, man. You know, I've been working on it longer than I thought I would. I thought I'd take the easy route to begin with by getting loads of people on a live stream and then creating a book out of that. But I reckon it's probably even more difficult than writing a book straight off.
So, what was the most challenging for you? Because, as I know, this is not your first book. What was the most challenging to publish this one, and what did you learn from the previous experience with previous book?
Oh, wowzers! There's some questions for you. Um, it was tough. My biggest challenge was having you on. No, my biggest challenge. The live stream series that I produced the book from had 134 different marketers on there. So the biggest challenge was probably making sure that I could manage that and get everyone on there, and there was no technical challenges at all. So that was the technical challenge. So there was maybe a big technical challenge, but there was also a big challenge in the production of the book, because then what happens is I created transcripts of everything that was said, so about 8 hours of transcripts there, and then from that created the book. So to create a book out of transcripts is so much more work than I thought it would be, because it essentially involves rewriting everything. And if you want something to be a decent book, it's got to be written as if it's meant for a book or an article instead of a transcript. A transcript just doesn't work for a book.
I see. Gotcha. So tell me a bit more about when the book will be available for our listeners.
Okay, well, the book is due to be launched on the 10th of December 2019. So we're recording this, on the 18th of November 2019.
Mhm.
I would imagine that people will be watching this video for decades. So I just thought I'd
Yeah,
clarify
absolutely.
the year that we're talking about here. And I'm going to do a massive live stream to celebrate the launch of that. So that's going to be on marketingnowbook.com, and people can sign up for it there. The live stream will probably be on LinkedIn. It will probably be in a few other places, but I'm just getting people to sign up for that just so that I can tell them where it is when it happens.
Perfect. So tell me about yourself, David, because obviously I know you for ages, and you know me for ages, and people would probably like to know more about your skills. You are one of the most recognizable person, and
Apart
most
from yourself.
a part of me, obviously. But if not you, then I wouldn't have a proper microphone, which is here. I wouldn't have a proper camera, which is here. I have somewhere my light, but it was also because of you, but I don't know where it is. I remember when you prepared me a list on Amazon, I bought everything. I have this lamp somewhere, probably downstairs. But yeah, I would like you to tell a bit more to our listeners where the passion of podcast and live streaming came from, and what could you maybe at the beginning, what could you share with a newbie of of podcasts who want to join this exciting world, where to start?
Okay, well, one exciting tip to begin with. I wish I'd given you affiliate links for the gear that I'd recommended instead of just plain Amazon links. But look, I've been like yourself. I've been involved in this digital marketing game for a long, long time. I started my first online business in the year 2000. I got fairly good at SEO in about 2004 when I started to publish my own web pages, rank web pages for quite competitive terms, and make just about a full-time income from Google AdSense, probably about $1,000 a week or something like that at the time, and it was doing pretty good with that. So that's really where I got started in digital marketing, and I started my first podcast in the year 2006, really just after podcasts came out, and I played with it for a little bit, but about 2014, I started to get serious about the medium because I decided you can't do everything with digital marketing. You can't focus on everything at once. So the medium that I really like is podcasting. So that's when I bought this a decent microphone. I'm using an Electro Voice RE20, if anyone's interested, plugged into an art voice channel, and that adds a little bit of tone to my voice as well. So those couple of bits of kit are fairly important to me to produce a really decent quality piece of audio. You can get started with cheaper equipment, the kind of equipment that I recommended to you, and it's completely fine for getting started with. But really, I've been podcasting seriously for about 5 years or so now.
Perfect. And are you still using this lovely machine that is doing this lots of lovely jingles? When I was in your flat, you had...
I wish I'd plugged it in now. This lovely machine is called an iPad.
Oh, yeah, but there was an app for that, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, I'm using, or I've used an app called BossJock. I haven't got it plugged in at the moment. But that's what I use. And what you do is you upload audio to Dropbox, and then the app BossJock will take the audio and then store the audio directly on your iPad and link it to the different buttons in the app. And then when you press the button, the audio is immediately available. So it's really good for intros and outros and bumper noises and silly noises that you want to bring into a podcast. And that's the kind of... Sorry, go for it.
Yeah, go on.
Now, I was just going to say that you don't want to start with that as a podcaster. If you're starting a podcast, you want to start just with the microphone that I recommended to you that you're using is a Samsung Q2U, and that's a great starter microphone. If you're in the States, get an ATR 2100 instead, and they're about £60, $60 or so. And that will plug directly into your computer. And when you're just getting started, just focus on the content that you're sharing. But the next level up is start to add your intros and your outros and your bumpers into as you're recording the show, and that'll save you a bit of time as well. So yeah, what we talked about there, BossJock and other similar apps, it's good, it's useful, but don't start with that.
Perfect. And another question, I'm very, very curious how it works with you, because I know some podcasters who are very, very strict about what equipment the guest is using. So it must be a decent microphone, it must be decent camera, it should be a relatively quiet environment. And what is this, how it works with you? Have you ever had this kind of guests who are like connecting in the middle of the pines somewhere in the busy pub?
Definitely.
And how it works then?
Look, certain people, if they're really famous or they're a brilliant guest, and you know that it's unlikely that you're going to be able to get them on again or to agree to another time, you've just got to suck it up and... Yeah. Only when you've got your hat on, though.
Yeah.
But sorry, I was just picturing your hair attached to your hat, actually, and you to be completely bald underneath. But the weird pictures I get in my head there. But look, if you get famous guys on, even someone like Rand Fishkin, for example, he's a difficult guy to get hold of. And when you get him on your podcast, you don't particularly want to tell him, look, your audio quality is pretty poor. Can we not reschedule this and actually you get a decent microphone? So he's an example. I wasn't happy with the audio quality that was available when I interviewed him, but you have to suck that up a little bit and then see what you can do post-production. to improve the audio quality and get it right afterwards. But most people, it's worthwhile for your visitors' sake to say to them, look, I'm not happy on behalf of my visitor for what we're producing here, either because of their internet connection, their audio quality, or maybe a couple of other different reasons. It's best for your listeners, and it's best for the future success of your show not to put out content that is inferior in recording quality. So you need to have the confidence and ability to say to someone, look, let's rearrange this and let's look at this, and I'll give you the link again, and we can give it a go again in the future.
Perfect. And you have often situations like that, or most of the guests are like aware that, because, for someone who is not that experienced like you, it can be like we're just talking, but there is lots of behind. It must be a good quality. Have you ever had like a guest you had to say like, sorry, we need to reschedule this?
Yeah, definitely. But I mean, to begin with, I was probably a bit too scared to say that. So to begin with, you want to be nice to people, and you feel that their time is worth more than your time. And if they've come on your show, you owe it to them to record them. But after a while, after 50 episodes or whatever, you actually become confident that them coming on your podcast is going to be very good for them as well, and you'll get some guests say to you that they generated sales as a result of being on your show as well. So the perceived value of your show, your perceived value of your show, will go up in time. You can have systems in place that will make it less likely that a guest will have bad sound. So I'll use booking scheduling software. I've used scheduleonce.com before. I've used Acuity scheduling before. And then when people come on there, they fill in all their details, and then 7 days before the interview, they'll automatically receive an email to say, great, we're looking forward to having you on the show. Make sure that the equipment that you use is as good as possible. This is what we recommend. This is how you can use it. This is the structure of a show. So it will let people go out and buy the right equipment if they don't have it beforehand as well. So there's ways that you can reduce the likelihood of having a guest on with rubbish quality audio, but you can't completely take out that possibility.
Absolutely. And what about the softwares? Right now, we are on something that I see first time, VMIX Call. And I remember many years ago when we had probably one of the first conversation between me and you also introduced me to something that was recording in much better quality. Where are you getting all this? Is there any like a resource website, or maybe you going to write an article where someone can see like, okay, this is for that. This is, because for me, it's like kind of a maze at the moment,
Yeah, but everything's a maze. SEO is a maze to people. I mean, the tools out there for SEO, and podcasting is the same. I mean, vmix.com is the tool that we're using at the moment just to record this, and you actually get 2 months free when you sign up to it. It's a platform that only works for PCs, and you need a PC that's quite powerful. But if you're thinking of producing webinars and bringing lots of callers in, and you want to have silly things like green screens and other effects as part of it, then it's a piece of software worthwhile considering. So we're talking on vMix Call, which is like Skype, but it's just been developed from the guys at vMix to link directly to their software.
Oh, I see. Perfect. So now I wanted to go back in time a little. You remember the reason why we know it's obviously Digital Marketing Radio. It was some time ago. And can you tell our listeners what is the plan? Is this frozen? Are you going to resurrect? Are you going to bring this show back to life? I know that there was lots of people who've been a big fans of Digital Marketing Radio.
I'll tell you definitely if you sing me the song Frozen. How about that?
No way. Maybe next week we're going with my wife and my little one for a Frozen new chapter or whatever. Then I will rehearse. Okay.
It's on hold.
Let it go. Let it go.
I love your enunciation.
Thank
Look,
you.
what's happening is the brand's changing to Marketing Now. The book that I'm launching is going to be called Marketing Now, and I'm going to be starting a podcast towards the beginning of next year at some beginning of some point
Mhm.
next year called Marketing Now as well. The reason the brand's changing is because, I mean, first of all, marketing is becoming digital marketing, or digital marketing is becoming the marketing as well. And I think Marketing Now, we can still talk about digital marketing as well as bringing in other topics like traditional marketing models into the conversation, which I'd quite like to do. And secondly, digital marketing radio, the brand, probably limited me to just doing a podcast or doing an audio program. I could maybe record it in video, but it doesn't lend itself really well to a book. So Marketing Now is a bit more of a generic brand that's good for a book and it's good for a podcast as well. So I'll be relaunching it and redirecting any old feeds to Marketing Now whenever that's published.
So you can say that digital marketing radio doesn't die; is only evolving. It's like
Yeah, it's evolving. I mean, it'll redirect. I would imagine the site will be eventually 301 to the new website when that's launched as well. So it was great for a while. I'm going to use a lot of the structure from digital marketing radio as well. I mean, I like the 5 common questions, the bumper noises that I
I
did.
love it. I love it. Yes or
Yeah.
no? You need to
It,
say like no, not. It wasn't yes or no. Just one word answer, kind of.
Oh, I wish I had my iPad plugged in now as well, and I could just play it to
Yeah.
people. But you have to go back and listen to it. But yeah, I'm gonna take a lot of that back. I will make sure that any question is obviously relevant to marketing now, like what I did then, and and
Absolutely.
yeah, it should be good.
Perfect. And what about the other projects? I know that for a long time you was involved in organizing some podcast for SEMrush. You have a couple of other things. How it works right now? Do you have more and more? Our listeners can listen you on some other events, online events, or periodically managed by you and some people.
Yeah, look, I'm juggling a few things now. I'm trying to focus as much of my energies as possible on the publishing of marketing now, but I have been hosting a podcast called Marketing Scoop for SEMrush, so I've hosted about 50 episodes of that. Season 3 may or may not come out at some point. It's paused just now. I'm also hosting online summits for Larry Kim's Mobile Monkey as well. So that's about once every 2 or 3 months or so. I'm hosting a massive online summit. They're crazy. They're about 8 or 9 hours long. You've got to be focused on online for that. And I'm producing podcasts for a couple of clients as well. So I may
Mhm.
market that service a little bit more because that seems to be going fairly well. I'm actually going into a couple of clients in the centre of London and recording. So they've got kind of multiple people as part of a discussion panel, and then I'm taking it into separate tracks and having everything edited and produced afterwards, and producing the podcast for them. So that's quite an interesting thing to be up to.
So right now you have one project, but there can be more projects aside, yeah?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
that
It's a couple of podcasts that I'm producing. It's the summit, and it's the book that I'm focusing on. Those are the 3 main areas that I'm focusing on at the moment. Hopefully the book launch will go really well, and then I'll relaunch the podcast next year. And I may or may not, at the beginning of next year, be doing also additional podcast production for other clients, or other webinar podcast hosting for other clients. I'm actually talking to 3 other MarTech brands about maybe producing some stuff for them or hosting some stuff for them.
So I think it would be worth to ask you right now where people can find you, because I am pretty sure that lots of what we used to call decision makers, founders, MDs, CEO, vice presidents will be listening to this conversation we have right now. And if they would like to approach you, have a more business related conversation about you taking care of their podcast, where they can find you.
Sure. Thanks. Well, I guess the best platform for that kind of conversation is LinkedIn. I've been embracing LinkedIn a little bit more recently, so I've just got /David Bain. So just search for David Bain on LinkedIn, and you'll be able to find me. The job description is just author marketing now at the moment, and I'm really loving LinkedIn from like a publishing, a marketing perspective, and also broadcasting live on LinkedIn. I'm also at David Bain on Twitter. I'm probably a little bit less often on Twitter, and I've just got the domain name davidbain.com. So that website.
Bravo! I remember we were talking a lot about this. Yes,
it took me
fantastic.
a lot of.
How does it feel?
You know, man, I've been thinking about the possibility of buying that domain name for the last 18 years. And I've been in conversation with a previous owner of it, and he's just not wanted to sell it. And eventually it dropped, and then I got into a GoDaddy auction with someone else, and I got it for not a whole lot of money. So I'm really, really happy. So at the moment, I've got the launch page of the book, which is on the domain name marketingnowbook.com, and the domain name davidbain.com redirects to marketingnowbook.com. The intention is to probably within the next couple of months have a new website built for davidbain.com, and then I'll change the redirect the other way around.
Perfect. And in the friends section, you know where to link to my website, obviously.
Oh yeah, absolutely, Mr. SEO.London. That's probably easier. But is that a cool? Is that the best website for you now?
When you have a Polish name, Czech surname, and you're living in England, then you should probably have something much simpler than Lukasz Zelezny. Even I don't know how to spell this right now.
And that's when you're sober.
Yeah, so we should definitely celebrate the fact, because I remember our conversation in Guernsey when you was telling about the domain. I remember all the things. David, I have much more questions at the moment. Another question I would like to ask is, what next? What after Marketing Now? Because I know that the difference between me and you is that you have a plan. You have a couple of, you can see, I'm just kind of like, that's what makes us different.
You're doing incredibly well. I'm sending photos to everyone from all over the world all the time on your social networks. Look, Marketing Now is a lovely project that I don't think is going to age. So it's the kind of brand or podcast or book that I could publish additional versions of. There's a possibility that I could update it in a couple of years' time. But I think a lot of the content is very, very relevant for a few years instead of just now. So I'm not going to be in any rush to update it. I also love the fact that I've got that personal domain name, because I've also got like davidbain.co.uk, davidbain.me, but I was never that comfortable with using that domain for whatever reason. I mean, I'm in the UK at the moment. Who knows where I'm going to be living in 5 years? It may not be the UK. It may be somewhere else. .me would maybe go for anywhere else in the world, but .me is not the best domain name that you can have. So .com is always going to be the ideal domain name, I think, for most businesses. And to answer your question, what next? The thing is, now I've got the personal brand, it doesn't really matter, because I can change with the times and still keep the same website. So whether I zero in on offering podcast production services or hosting stuff for other people, or really producing a lot of books or whatever really in the future, I'm still probably going to be doing all that on my personal brand website.
Gotcha. And tell me, because everything what we're talking right now is pretty much spinning around the online world, and as you know, the digital marketing and marketing in general is also very well connected to anything like an events meetup. Are you going for any meetup, any event, as a speaker or as an attendee, so our listeners can potentially meet with you, ask you questions, Can you tell a couple of...
At the moment, I haven't been going to lots of events. I think once the book launch is over, then that will be changing. Over the last month or so, I've actually been interviewed on a dozen or so different podcasts. Kind of people wanting to interview me on their shows, and I think I'll be putting myself out there more as a prospective speaker at an event or a panel host at an event. I think I'd like to do more of that over the next year or two. I really haven't been pushing myself to do that recently because I've been focusing on so many other things, but I think it's just about time to start to do that. In terms of events that I'll be attending, I may be going to the next Brighton SEO, and I'm also going to an event called Atomicon, which is in Newcastle. That's more of a kind of general digital marketing event, but it was amazing last year, and I'm looking forward to going to that one again.
Gotcha. Fantastic. So maybe as a little wrap up of this lovely conversation.
A little wrap? You're going to give us a little wrap?
No, a wrap up. Yeah, I wish I could. I already started singing Frozen. You should really appreciate. Do you have a guitar? Do you have a guitar ready? No, I'm joking. David, tell once again when the book will be ready to purchase, where people can purchase. And one more question I have, specifically about book. Do you think that there will be sooner or later an audio version, predominantly like read by you?
Yeah, definitely. So in terms of what I'm going to do for the book launch, so I'm not sure when this kind of video is going to be shared, but obviously we're talking November the 18th. I'm going to do November the 25th. So next week, I'm going to do a live stream that may launch a Kickstarter campaign. So I haven't even submitted a Kickstarter campaign yet, but the intention is to have a Kickstarter campaign running for 2 weeks or so to promote an audiobook. So you mentioned audiobook. The intention is for me to record an audiobook. I'm actually going down to meet with Kevin Gibbons over the next couple of weeks, because Kevin Gibbons, a mutual friend of ours, founder of Resignal, wrote the foreword for the book. So he's going to record the foreword section. So I'm kind of going to have to record the book if he's recording the foreword section of the book. And then the book launch itself will be on the 10th of December. And we're going to be doing a crazy live stream. We're going to do an 8-hour live stream. I'm going to have a mix between kind of panel review sections where people will be reviewing the content in the book and adding their opinion to that. And then I'm going to have online workshops where people are going to come on and the public will share their businesses, their domain names, and then the panelists will actually do a workshop on what that particular business should take away from the book and learn from it and implement from the book. So that will be on the 3 main sections of the book, and that will take the whole 8 hours on December the 10th when we do the launch. Again, it'll probably be LinkedIn. It will be a couple of other places we stream online, but just sign up at marketingnowbook.com, and then I'll let you know exactly where it is.
Fantastic. So to our listeners, remember David Bain, marketingnowbook.com?
Marketingnowbook.com. It'll be easier when it's davidbain.com in the future, won't it? Or is that an easier
Absolutely.
one to give people?
Absolutely. David, thank you very much for your time. It was a pleasure and honor and privilege to have you here. Thank you very much for sending me the pre-release. Look, I hope to see you soon, so we can celebrate your success and your hard work. I know that it was very, very big project for you, so great job, man.
We'll see each other again soon. Good to be on with you. Thanks.
Thank you.